rapist. What's wrong with you?
Come on, boy.
Pick up the holiday.
Dublin erupted last night in scenes that laid bare Ireland's growing tension over immigration, sovereignty, and safety. What began as an emotional outcry over the alleged Irish girl by a foreign national escalated into a dramatic street mobilization that combined fury, symbolism, and a dangerous political edge. Thousands of protesters poured into the streets near the Citywest Hotel, long used as accommodation for asylum seekers. Among them were men on horseback carrying Irish flags, shouting, "This is our land," an image that quickly went viral across social media, evoking comparisons to historic nationalist uprisings. For many in the crowd, this was more than a reaction to one crime. It was a collective breaking point. The alleged assault on the child became a lightning rod for grievances over immigration, housing shortages, and the perception that the government has lost control of Ireland's borders. The Irish government now faces a dilemma. The protests are spreading beyond fringe movements, drawing in working-class citizens, young families, and disillusioned voters who feel unrepresented by the establishment party. The echoes of Tommy Robinson's rhetoric across Irish megaphones reflect a new stage of European populism, cross-border coordination of nationalist movements fueled by social media and outrage politics. Ireland, once seen as insulated from the far-right tide that swept through Britain and mainland Europe, is now confronting its own reckoning. What began as mourning has morphed into a movement. Whether it becomes a demand for justice or a descent into chaos will depend on how Ireland's leaders respond and how long ordinary citizens feel unheard.
3.8%. Could it have been worse? Well, it could have been worse, but, what's your reaction to this?
Well, it's far from good. 3.8% is twice the Bank of England's target. It's twice what the government inherited on the day of the last general election. And what it means, of course, is higher prices for people in their shopping baskets. We know that food inflation is running at well over 4%. And this is down to this government's choices, putting national insurance on businesses, which is passed through to higher prices. But borrowing and spending lots of money has kept inflation higher. So it's keeping up people's mortgage costs, and it's adding to the cost of servicing our national debt at the same time. So all in all, these are not good numbers.
But Mel, some of the things that I've read have said actually it's a combination of Brexit finally coming home to roost and the hot summer, meaning that food prices have gone up because of the fact that the crops haven't been growing well.
Well, no, it's down to the choices, Penny, of this government. It's because, as I say, they put national insurance on businesses. That gets passed on by businesses by way of higher prices. The huge amount of borrowing and spending that this government's doing, an extra £500 billion that this government is spending across this parliament compared to our plans. Those are the things that are keeping inflation high. And we are an outlier. We've got the highest inflation rate, according to the IMF, will be this year in the G7 and also next year in the G7. So we are being outperformed by other countries, and we're not getting inflation down as quickly as we should be.
Shadow Chancellor, the overall picture, just as a human being looking at the overall picture, how on earth can people afford to live? This inflation thing, particularly on food, we're coming up to, Christmas, the most important spending time of the year here, and yet, is Rachel Reeves deaf to all of this?
Well, she needs to have a proper plan and some backbone, Eamon, because the way to get through this is actually to get a grip and control of government spending. And I set out at our party conference some £47 billion worth of savings, a lot of it coming from welfare, so driving down the welfare bill. We've got far too many people on those health and sickness benefits. And if you do that, then that does give you the space to then start cutting taxes. And in fact, at our conference, we announced that were we in power, we'd be abolishing stamp duty, abolishing business rates on shops and businesses in high streets, and making a big bold offer to young people regarding lower tax on their first job. So you can get taxes down, which can help to get inflation down, but only if you take the tough choices on government spending, and this government is not doing that.